Scopper Gaban clashing with Saint Sommers. Elbaf school and library engulfed in flames. A heroic yet unexpected sacrifice of the left-hand man of the Pirate King. The shocking reveal of Brooke's daughter and the true entrance of the final villain of the series. This chapter is packed with twists that you do not want to miss. Make sure to stick around until the very end, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's dive headfirst into the chaos of One Piece chapter 1149. Let's go. We start off exactly where we left off with Scopper Gaban cutting the arm of Saint Sommers, and we get to see the reaction of every Straw Hat there, mainly Robin, Jinbei, Brooke, and Usopp. Sommers is screaming in agony, and I find it very interesting that it is Usopp the one that notices that the attack actually worked on Sommers. Then we have a typical old man moment. Scopper Gaban cutting the arm of the Holy Knight. A spectacular thing is done, and yet Scopper is like, wow, I used to be much stronger than this. Garp and Rayleigh did it, and Scopper is no different from them. The fight continues in intense fashion as Sommers and Scopper go toe to toe with one another. The Straw Hats are like, is that the guy from the castle earlier? Luffy and Zoro were totally overwhelmed by him. And see this, I'm not really sure who said that, whether it was Usopp or Nami, but come on, they were not overwhelmed by Scopper. They were just caught by surprise. Yeah, naturally, because an old man just tried to kill them from out of nowhere. He didn't really try to kill them, but he attacked them viciously. And Oda is showcasing that Sommers is no pushover. He totally went all out, spiking the entire field and going at Scopper with intense named attack. But in the end, Scopper was victorious, cutting a Holy Knight in half without breaking much of a sweat, and then continuing on towards his son Colin. Heck, even Chopper is doing something this chapter, as he is the one that is heading towards Scopper. He needs to know what that attack was infused with. How the hell could Scopper bypass the immortality of these Holy Knights? That's very smart from Chopper, and you might remember that one of his abilities is to track the weak point of an enemy, an ability that hasn't been seen in this series for quite a long time. And so it would be very nice if Chopper could somehow locate the weakness of Gungko and give the information to one of the other Straw Hats that can actually do some damage against the Holy Knight. But as far as we know, the only three that can do it are nowhere to be seen. Now I'm guessing that Scopper used Conqueror's haki, or even the haki that Joy Boy had. You know, the one that was able to send the Gorosei back to the Holy Land of Marie-Joie at the end of Egghead Island. Then we cut to a very sad scene of Ange, the school teacher, crying over the library and over the situation that she is in right now. But then again, what were they supposed to do? Let the poor kid die? I don't think so. The future is much more important than the past. And Robin seeing that from afar broke my heart in two. The blood, sweat, and tears that the scholars of Ohara put in to learn about the true history of the world. Now, it is all gone. Or maybe somebody comes to rescue the books yet again from the fire. But as of right now, that hope is fading. We see Jarul crying his heart out, while poor little Ronya is saying sorry for being alive. That is so incredibly heartbreaking. For her, it's like it is her fault that her country's history is burning to ashes. The tears of devastation coming down her face as she says sorry. It makes me so sad for this poor child. I mean, there is no way, shape or form that she deserves this. Then Gungko says, is it so hard to show a little bit of joy? In that moment, Gungko does not understand why the kid is not happy. She does get to live, right? So why is she crying? But hold on a second. We will get back to Gunko's side of things in a short while. I find her internal struggle very interesting. Culture, history, children, even military might. You do not have the right to take that away from the people of Elbaf. Spoken like a true liberator, Scopper Gaban rushes into the path of Gungko. And by the way, can we just have a little bit of a moment recognizing Scopper Gaban's speed feat? I mean, really, this guy was just over by Sommers, and that's quite a bit away from the children. But he gets there in an instant. Kinda reminds me of a certain Sanji that we have in our crew. She says, what are you doing, man? You know that we will kill your children if you resist. Colin immediately recognizing that his father is coming. But Scopper's like, man, don't say anything. We gotta catch them by surprise. Of course, I'm not faulting Colin for being happy about his strong dad coming to his rescue. He is a child after all, even if he's shown all of this bravery this arc. And then we cut to a panel for what seems like Gungko rotating Scopper Gaban's attack and making him miss her entirely. She then immediately goes for the kill on Colin. And from this point on, we're moving incredibly slow. That's not to say that the pace of the chapter is bad. It is that this sequence alone is going by 1 second, just like the title of the chapter. Scopper is there having an internal conflict. If he acts now, he can put the fires out at the library. But then again, in that second, his kid might die. And this theme of the arc gets put forth again. The ultimatum. Do you save your child? Or do you save the work and history of hundreds and hundreds of years? Scopper's like, Colin, I trust you. Be brave. Give me 1 second and I'll be back. Colin's like, yeah, Dad, go. Do what you gotta do, man. Gungko starts piercing Colin's neck. We then get a beautiful flashback of the birth of Colin, young Ripley and Scopper being happy and experiencing the joy of birth, and then cutting to Ripley's mother's intuition telling her that Colin is in danger. And just as it's about to get really ugly for Colin, Scopper comes back with an attack on Gungko. He's got to stop her, otherwise she's gonna keep on killing every one of the children. As he's about to cut Gungko, he experiences a future sight moment where he sees his kid brutally getting murdered with the spear piercing through his neck. I'm not gonna lie, this is one of the most grotesque One Piece panels I have ever seen. The shade of black on Colin's crying face as he's getting pierced is terrifying, and I'm glad that it is just future sight. Scopper immediately surrenders, throwing his axes to the ground and begging for his kid's life. A crying father doing everything in his power to save the kingdom of his beloved wife and save child from brutal murder. Gungko takes the spear out of Colin and attacks Scopper, piercing him with 2 arrows as he is apologizing to the country of Elbaf, the country that he couldn't save, and apologizing to his son for being pierced. It must have hurt really bad. I'm sorry, son. And you see Colin crying his heart out, and damn it, what is up with One Piece nowadays, man? These last few arcs are so dark, grotesque, and so emotional, man. All at once. Knowing Oda, he has Chopper there to save Scopper and heal him. Although it would be a really cool moment if Scopper Gaban met his end right then and there. Maybe revealing to Chopper how to damage the Holy Knights and then dying right in front of the amazing Dr. Chopper. It would then give an opportunity for Chopper to rage and have some character development for once and do something to Gungko so that the kids escape. Maybe he's gonna stall her out until one of the other Straw Hats show up, but we'll never know. Colin screaming for his dying father at the end of the chapter, Daddy, please don't die. And then probably the most interesting thing in the entire chapter arrives. Hearing Colin's agony screams for his dad, Dad, please don't die. Gungko gets a sudden flashback. The flashback at first is a very small panel of what looks like her screaming for her father. The thing is that she does not remember having that memory. She's like, what is this? Why am I seeing this right now? All of a sudden? What? And then we see a panel of most probably Brook. Yes, you heard it, Brook, in his younger days, saying that his dream is to be a pirate while holding his daughter's hand. All I'm saying is, guys, listen to me. All I'm saying is, what an incredible twist. What an incredible twist. There is nobody in this entire community of thousands of people creating and talking about One Piece. There is not a single one of them that could predict this. And oh my god, what a twist. I just did a Gungko video last night, and if you haven't seen it, make sure to do so. I'll leave a link in the description. But my thoughts were that she was like a spy for the Revolutionary Army. And the interesting part for me back then, when I didn't know anything about this chapter, was that she was listening to Brook's song New World. So in my head, Gungko was longing for a new world. That's why she's listening to the song. But I did not expect this whatsoever. I was not expecting her to be Brook's daughter. I mean, come on guys, come on, be real with yourselves. You didn't guess this. Oda, please give me more juice, please. We cut back to the Straw Hats in the middle of some conversation between one another. Maybe they were talking about Brook's past. Usopp says they really do look alike. And who is he talking about here? If he's referring to Gungko, how does he see a resemblance between her and a skeleton? Brook apologized for some reason. This panel, I don't know if it's a mistranslation or Oda is deliberately making this a bit mysterious. But then Gungko comes back to her senses. What? Bro, what is this chapter, man? Brook, is that really you? And the thing is, if she's actually Brook's daughter, wouldn't she refer to him as dad or daddy? Why is she calling him by his name? As she's running towards him, something gets inside her head. We clearly see the sound of maybe mind control? I mean, it's like something took over her entire. Her eyes went all black and everything. What's with all the commotion, he said. Killingham's like, great Imu-sama! And I'm like, what? Imu? Now? Are we really that near the end of the series, bro? Like last arc, he sent his top 5 guys to Egghead. Then he killed one of them and then replaced him with what looks like Shanks' father. Then this arc, Shanks' brother shows up. Then he's gotta dip out because there's some problems back in Marie-Joie. And then now he takes mind control of Gungko. Guys, what is going on? He says the Holy Land is currently in flames. I'm like, what? Has the war really started already? And in one translation he says, you seem to require additional military support. But on the other translation he says, we need more military power. That kind of changes the meaning of all of this. Because one translation implies that he will send more troops to Elbaf to help the God's Knights there. But the other one basically tells the Holy Knights to hurry up, finish your business and get back to the Holy Land. I don't know, we just have to wait for the official translation to come up. But then he takes full control of Gunko's body. And then he says, Imu shall show you what it is to be ruled by God. One Piece chapter 1149. And what an incredible chapter. Will this be the first time we see the full extent of Imu's power? Is Gungko really Brook's daughter? How will the Straw Hats deal with all of this while the Monster Trio and Loki are nowhere to be seen? I hope we will all find out in the upcoming chapter. Anyways guys, this has been it for One Piece chapter 1148. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit the like and subscribe button. Subscribe to the second channel for more reactions of this beautiful anime. And stay tuned for more theories to come. Haki review out.